Gun shop employees of Reddit, what are some red flags that have caused you to deny a sale of a firearm? Serious. I used to work in a large outdoors retailer. I had a man come in for a gun that refused to give me his ID. Also didn't want to give me his name, address, date of birth or any other info. He said he should just be able to answer the questions on the background check and that should be all I needed. Sale denied. Finally one that I can answer. I was living in Alaska for a year and picked up a part-time job in the winter as a gun counter clerk at a national sporting goods chain. One slow evening a kid comes in, by kid I'm talking college-aged, and starts staring into the pistol case. I ask him if he wants to see one and that I'd need his ID to verify his age etc. All's going well, it's obvious he's new to guns. I ask him what his intended purpose in use was in order to find what might suit his needs. He says he wants a cowboy-style gun and all he wants to do is to go shooting to let off steam, that his mom teases him for always being on the computer and growing up a pussy. The more I talked to him the more I realized he was just a closet weeboo, otaku. My brother's a full-on weeboo so I told the kid about how they had a big group of friends who met once a year during AX or Comic-Con SD. Kid was straight up starry-eyed, told me he wishes he knew people like that if he had friends like that he wouldn't have bipolar issues. In the end I told the kid not to buy a gun, save up his money and GTFO of Alaska. I swear I've not had a happier customer, dude didn't even buy anything. Already posted one here but another doozy was sketchy bloke comes in and wants to look at lever action shotguns, before this thing's even left my hands he's smashing the lever as hard and fast as he can. I asked him to not do that and had to explain to a grown-as man why it's not okay to roughly handle a brand new anything that you haven't bought. He's got one of those 5-year-old kids he keeps interrupting us talking cuz he wanted to hold the gun. I turned my back to double check price and when I turn around I'm looking down the barrel of the shotgun the father's handed to his kid and hear the click of him dry firing it at me. Ripped it out of this kid's hand and told the dad to get the fuck out and dad starts abusing me cuz I hurt his kid's hand when I pulled the shotgun away. Having his kid dry fire a shotgun in my face isn't that big of a deal apparently. Obvious straw purchasers. Dude asks all the questions and does the shopping and dude B, or girlfriend, wants to fill out the background check and pay for it. GTFO. Former gun shop employee here. An automatic ejection from the store was when the customer asks which kind of firearm is effective for harming or killing people. I personally called the police on a few sketchy buyers. All came through with having warrants or issues. My boss didn't take this kind of shit lightly. We had short team meetings every week to ensure everyone understood what goes on. He was an excellent boss. Guy walked in wearing a bulletproof vest. We get lots of people who use us for transfers. They buy online and then the gun comes to us and we handle the background check. One guy had done a transfer with us previously and I got a bad feeling about him. Nothing concrete, he just bugged me. A few weeks later, he called again for another transfer. The gun was coming from Alaska, so I told him it was going to take a bit longer than usual and I'd call him as soon as it arrived. The next day, he called wanting to know if I had a tracking number yet. I didn't. The Alaska FFL only did business by mail. How the hell a letter was supposed to get to Alaska overnight, I know not. Again, I told him to be patient. Fast forward a week and he calls me 3 times. He lets slip that the dealer in Alaska won't talk to him and he needs me to be the go-between. That's a red flag. Sellers normally communicate with buyers. He was acting really sketchy and impatient so I had decided to deny the sale. So, I called the dealer because this was getting sketchy. The dealer told me he canceled the sale. Interesting, never had that happen before. The dealer said and I'm quitting here, that guy is a serial killer in the making. He'd harassed the dealer several times a day starting on the day he ordered the gun. The dealer said the guy knew the sale was canceled because he told him and refunded his money. That settled it for me. I wasn't interested in handling any transfers for him. When I finally blocked his phone number, 2 days after talking to the dealer, I had 35 missed calls from him. TLDR. Guy was super impatient about a transfer, harassed the seller and spooked him pretty badly. Logged 35 missed calls to my phone in 2 days. I like it when they make it obvious for me and, hopefully, joke about shooting at schools, protesters. It happens more than you would think. Also, don't send your friend you were browsing with to try and buy the exact same firearm that you wanted 15 minutes after I told you I couldn't sell to you. Our range rents out firearms for trap, skeet shooting. Had a lady come in asking strange questions like, Does it hurt if someone gets shot with it? And also acted weird when she answered a call and told the person that she was at a coffee shop. She left, and we called the cops to file a report of a suspicious person. Paperwork accuracy is a big issue. It has to be 100%. If your gov-issued ID doesn't match the info you put on a form and you don't have any of the allowed supporting information, then no gun sales to you. Had one guy come in only with the title to his car. No gov-issued photo ID. He spouted some BS about sovereign citizen blah blah. We took his info and blacklisted him in the computer. We didn't want to be associated with that type of folks. We would also ask what the intended use was for and lead them with a certain hunting season. An example would be, okay, why do you need a .22 rifle, going to hunt some deer? If they would answer yes, no gun. The .22 rifle, while capable to kill a deer, is not allowed in our state's hunting regulations, or any that I know of. Big red flag. We had a protocol that if we got strange customers, like folks asking for one bullet, seemed like they were just trying to get any gun, making threatening statements, etc., we would make them fill out their section of the 4473 form, photocopy their ID, then deny the sale. This way we could involve law enforcement as needed. If we just told them no, you have nothing else than a shitty description and some security camera footage. The one that really sticks out is the guy who, in the course of small talk, feeling out the customer, asked if he could walk out with the gun that day. We told him that if the paperwork was acceptable and the background check came back as a proceed, then he would be able to. He follows up with a, "Good, now I can ice my bitch of a wife." We had him do the paperwork, copied his ID and denied him right there. He was pissed to say the least. He finally left. We called the cops and they followed up with a wellness check. Turns out he was just a shithead. Still blacklisted him in the computer. Back when I used to work behind the counter, I had a guy who wouldn't stop sweeping customers and employees with the muzzle of firearms he asked to see. I warned him several times to stop. When he deliberately aimed it at a customer, I immediately took the pistol away and kicked him out the store. That kind of unsafe behavior is something I won't tolerate, and I certainly denied sales back then, and I will deny training if I see it on the range now. I worked in a gun store for about a year and a half. Had a couple guys come in asking for cheap firearms. Okay, no big deal, people are on a budget. Been there. So they give me a price point of about $250. Again, no big deal. They want a handgun, not a revolver. Showed them a used Hippoint, Canic, and a couple of cars and a Keltec. They asked me to disassemble to see the serial numbers. Kinda weird, but figured they just wanted to make sure the guns matched up or something like that. Then I overhear them talking about blacking out the serial number. Ask them why they want to black them out and if they know it's illegal. Say that they wanted untraceable guns. Nope. Told them to leave. Drugs. Had a guy come in one time with his family and wanted something cheap. He had all these track marks on his arms, scabs on his face, and was really out of it. I did my best to tell him no without making a fuss, and finally had to say something about the track marks in front of everyone. Not a good day for him. I guess he'd been telling his family they were from something else and they believed him. I don't work in a gun shop, but I'm an avid collector and conduct private sales every so often. In my state, there's a couple of modest rules that have to be followed. You can't knowingly transfer to a prohibited person, you can't transfer across state lines, you can't transfer to a minor unless they're a family member, that kind of thing. Due to my state's proximity to Illinois and Chicago, and the relative ease of obtaining a carry license, the carry license has become kind of a stand-in for background checks that private sellers can't do. I ask for a driver's license to show residency, a carry permit to show this person would pass a 4473 background check if I ran one, then have them fill out a bill of sale basically saying, "I promise I'm not a prohibited person." Any legit gun enthusiast can breeze through those requirements. People who get shitty about them set off red flags for me. This one dude, https. Imager. com. a. r12ff. super sketched me out, and I took some screen grabs of the conversation. Basically, he was from out of state and tried to cajole me into selling him an AK pattern rifle. After double and triple checking the relevant laws, I told him I wasn't comfortable with a private sale, but I'd be more than happy to go to a dealer and pay the transfer fee. It's legal to transfer to an out-of-state buyer if you do it through a dealer. We'd have met at a gun store and taken 10 minutes to do it. He wasn't happy with that. He sent this random gun collection picture, claiming to already own several machine guns. They weren't, so obviously he can't be a prohibited person. Then he tried the "whatever, I'll just buy from someone else" move, probably hoping I'd be in a hurry to sell. Never be in a hurry to sell. I bid him on his way. I maintain a no-sketch policy for sales. There's always another buyer out there who won't give you shit about basic ass covering. A week later, the rifle sold to a completely normal dude with a valid permit who lived in the next county over. I think the guy was just an idiot, not a criminal straw buyer or an aspiring mass shooter. But when someone argues with you about the law and tries to pressure you into a sale, that's a red flag. Gun license photo, in Australia, looked nothing like him and he couldn't tell me the name or birthday on the license. I asked because there was the lack of resemblance between him and picture and a big red flag when he picked up a rifle and pressed his eye hard into the scope to look through it. Just walked out with his head down when he was told we're keeping the lost, stolen gun license. I did front-end code for a lot of small firearm companies that used NFDN, Gearfire websites to sell guns online. You wouldn't believe the amount of successful fraud there was in purchasing $10,000 scopes. However, the worst customer that one of them told me about was a man who had murdered his girlfriend a few days after purchasing a gun. She, gun shop owner, unfortunately didn't see any red flags and lost her business over what happened. She was forced to close for investigation, but by the time the investigation was completed she had lost too much money and couldn't afford to keep paying the lease on her location. Removed. Worked at a large outdoor store in their firearms section. Had a customer come in and ask about a precision rifle, chambered in .338 Lapua. Then while handing him his background paperwork he asked, "How far can this bullet hit a human-sized target?" He said he was buying it for big game hunting. A little sketchy, I know. I gave him some answer, at least 1,000 yards, but I'll get a definite answer. Walked in back to find the manager, who was the only person who can deny a sale. Explained what happened. Manager had him fill out paperwork and get his ID, then denied sale immediately after. And the kicker was he used his Chinese passport with a student visa as his ID. Police were called and they took it to the FBI. Saying stupid stuff. Avoiding conversation and eye contact. Consulting their partner who they were hiding outside. "Yes, we can see you out there." Some get by though. Husband and wife were looking for new turkey guns before the season. She came in later that week and picked up new hunting gear and shotgun, walked to get car and shot herself. Lots of bolo phone conversations with other shops. Being near a city kept us on our toes. I tried to copy as many IDs as possible. In NY you can only handle handguns with a permit, so that reduced a lot of knuckleheads. Another one, this is when I was pretty new, and just a lowly counter person. This pumped up dillhole comes in, glances in a case, and points out a Kimber. For those who don't know, these are rather expressive pistols. This one was in the $2.5K range. Says he wants it. This is a straw purchase behavior, so I was on watch for strange behavior from him immediately. Upon pulling the gun from the case, I see the tag has been marked. We had a secret way of marking tags of guns someone has looked at if they demonstrate behavior that indicates they may send someone in for a straw purchase. I go to the back to grab the gun, and tell my manager what's up. He starts to try to figure out why it's marked, seeing if we have any notes, while I go out to start paperwork. I give the guy the spiel. The paperwork needs to be filled out in an extremely precise manner, and he is rolling his eyes at me and making a show of ignoring me, telling me he has his own FFL and knows what he's doing. So he fills out the paperwork and I start looking it over. Mistakes everywhere. He put USA in the county field, didn't use caps in the state field, scribbled out mistakes without dating and initialing, checked a box that doesn't need to be checked unless you're an alien. I made him fix all of those things and he kept telling me I'm stupid and don't know what I'm talking about, and he did it perfectly, but begrudgingly fixed the errors. I would have shut him down for being a dick, but wanted to give my manager time to nail him for a straw purchase instead. Looking over his 4473 again, I notice his middle name is spelled Benjamin. I look at his ID, it shows Benjamin. So I ask him how to spell his middle name, and he replies, "Can't you read, bitch?" I say that I can read so well, in fact, that I can see his name is spelled different on his paperwork than his driver's license. He says, "I don't know, I never use my middle name. Give me my ID, I'll fix it even though it doesn't matter." At this point, thankfully, my manager comes out. He's a big dude, probably 6 feet 3 inches and 260 or so. He starts asking the guy about the gun, trying to determine whether it's a straw purchase. The guy gets defensive, says, "This dumb bitch has been trying to tell me she knows better than me since I got here, now you're interrogating me?" I'd been taking his verbal abuse for the last half hour, and had enough. Sai flung back, this from a guy who can't spell his own middle name? My manager gave me this wide-eyed, dude, not helping look and tried to calm the customer down, but it was too late. The guy reached over the counter like he was going to grab me and said, "You dumb cunt." He could immediately see that he went way too far from the look on MGR's face. He stopped, turned, and walked out. MGR followed him out the front door and stared him down until he drove out of the parking lot.